to cross over, or to go across to beyond. This word can also be said eber, and it's the root of ibrit, which is Hebrew. And we say the Hebrews were called the Hebrews because they crossed over the river Jordan. And we said, well, are we Hebrews? And people say, oh, I'm not a Hebrew. Have you crossed over from one way of life into another way of life? Have you crossed over to the things that drag you down because Yahshua has restored you to the place? So this is something to think about. But the word Iver, and it can mean straight, really means to cross over or to cross over to the beyond. So we can consider this in two ways. One, that we cross over physically from one way of life to another, or that we cross over from the physical to the spiritual. We enter into the realm of Yahweh, who is Elohim. Now the children of Israel crossed over to Makom, which is the place. Makom is another title for Yahweh Elohim. We find our place in Him. Now Makom is not in the verse, but I threw that in there for us to understand that when we come into the presence of Elohim, we're not just in the presence of Elohim, we're literally surrounded. He engulfs us. Now the next word is panav, that is used to say forward, but again from its root panim means in the face of or in the presence of. So if we add this to our idea, the one that we're developing, we would read, one, that we cross over physically from one way of life to another, or two, that we cross over from the physical to the spiritual. We enter into the realm of Yahuwah, into the presence of Yahweh Elohim. And the last word in this verse is Yelehu, from the root halak, that again means to walk. This word means to go and to come. It also means to live and to die. It means, again, the way that we live. And we can take this back to the Ve'achavta, that says, I will love Yahweh my Elohim with all of my heart, with all of my soul, my mind, my strength. And I will talk about Him in the morning when I rise up. I will talk about Him in the evening when I lay down. When I walk along the way, I'll teach it to my children. I'll put it in a little round thingy and nail it to my door and to my gates. So, our way of life, the way we walk. So, again, this word means to go and to come, as well as to live and to die. It means, again, the way that we live. This is the main theme of the Torah. How we are to live, how we walk, how we lay down and rise up. And although we live by it and have life in it, we can also die absent of it, but that with it we can die and find life in Yahuwah, who is our Makom, if we believe and receive His Yahshua, His Word. So in this study, we've built the following idea or ideas based on the words and the letters found in these two verses. The door in the wall is perceived by what surrounds the door. It is our perception of what is surrounding the door that keeps us from entering in. Consider that there was no room to receive them, so many that they crowded the door. Is it because you are paralyzed and carried by spiritual poverty, bringing one who is paralyzed, which was carried by four? Are you willing to rise above your situation in order to come into the presence of that which can redeem, deliver, and restore you? And when they could not come near to him because of the crowd at the door, they uncovered the roof where he was, and when they had broken it up, they let down the bed wherein the paralytic lay. When Yahshua saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, Son, your sins are forgiven. Our strength depends on our ability to reach for or through the door, and our being in subjection to it according to and on account of our perception of its instruction and guidance. Only then can we enter into the garden and be surrounded by it, coming under the blessings of Yahuwah, our Elohim, through Yahshua. We have a choice to turn away from the presence of Yahuwah, or we can make teshuvah and come into the presence of Yahuwah to acknowledge His presence surrounding us. In this, it is also our choice as humankind, both collectively and as individuals, to reach for the Zitzit and learn from, receive guidance from, and be blessed by the wings of the instruction of Yahuwah Elohim, being in fellowship with, or in the spirit, moving in the direction of, or in the instruction and guidance of Yahuwah Elohim, that connects us intimately to Yahuwah as his beloved, not turning from the direction of the instruction of Yahuwah Elohim in our walk and in our way of life, as well as our study, prayer, and praise. We cross over physically from one way of life to another. We cross over from the physical to the spiritual. We enter into the realm of Yahuwah, into the presence of Yahuwah Elohim. In this we walk when we rise up, when we lay down in life and in death. Sounds like I'm doing a wedding. So Yahuwah has given us a way. He's given us a chariot to travel in his direction, to find ourselves into his presence. So it's up to us to make the choice, climbing aboard or not. So that covers our sixth study of Yechezeqel to answer Ed and Lorraine's question. And grooviness is achieved.